Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Watch Talk Live. I'm John the Phone Guy. I will be your host today, and today we've got a very special guest um, who is been a longtime collector, and I'm sure everyone knows. Um, I do want to make a special shout out for his service to our country. It means a lot to me. So salute. And on that note, I also want to say a big salute and thank you for your service to Trap Vision. I meant to get that out last week, and our little audio issues threw me off. So I apologize for that. So, Trap, salute, buddy. With that, we're just kind of sitting here waiting on our guests to get into the green room. A little backstory. So, he has been a collector for quite some time. I believe it's 1992. I'm sure you've all heard his stories. Um, I'm really excited to see, obviously, his pocket watches and some of the other great watches I know is in his collection. So we really excited to see the Godfather, and obviously in memory of Godfather, I got my watch on Godfather style, so got a pro diver, and so this is going to be a really fun show. So let's see who all's in the chat. So Kenny, Mary, thanks for coming. Vic, how's it going? Anyone else that's out there, welcome. Glad you're stopping by. As soon as our special guest is in the room, we will get started. But obviously, want to talk about um, you know watch collections and all the things. Hey, Trap, what's going on, buddy? Um, so it's going to be a fun show. Hope everyone enjoys this. We'll probably start off with a few, questions to start. And well, hey Sherry, welcome, welcome. Um, Waiting to hear from our guest of honor, and I see him coming in right now. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready. If you can hear me. All right. So our guest of honor is ready. So let me bring him into the stream and welcome the Godfather. Hey, buddy. Not bad. Your audio's a little garbled.
Okay.
Try it
How
now.
about now?
A little better, yeah. A little better.
Okay.
So just welcome. Thank you for stopping in, and of course, want to thank you for your service, obviously. And I see your shirt. I got the blue and white on. I even got the Godfather watch on. So I wanted to say, how great it was to meet you in person on the cruise this past year and all of that. And for anybody that is ever on the cruise, if I don't care what time it is, the Godfather is out there watching, and his camera will catch you. So I just had a couple just general questions, just for everyone. I know probably some of these answers. So, who or what got you interested in watches to start with? Did you hear my question, Godfather?
Yeah. I heard your question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Actually, yes. We're sort of getting a delay here.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. Okay, so my mother had bought me a watch. I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. She bought me a wristwatch, and she had put the wristwatch on my wrist, of course, the way I wear it now. And the reason why she bought the watch was to teach me how to tell time. Most people nowadays they use their phones to tell time. You give them an analog watch, they can't tell time at all. you know. So she got me that watch, and it was a Timex, and I loved it. Say, hey, I can tell time, and I was important because of people of my age at that time. Nobody had a watch, you know. And then they had dressed me up for an Easter Sunday, and I was dressed up in a suit, wearing an overcoat, had a fedora on, and they had given me this pocket watch. Of course, it wasn't a real pocket watch, but they put this pocket watch in my little vest and said, "Hey, we want you to be fancy." So I was like, "Okay, this is going to work. I'm looking sharp. I'm looking sharp." I had a few nicknames throughout the neighborhood and stuff like that, um, but some of the older folks in the neighborhood used to call me Little Godfather. Okay, so it's like, hey, little Godfather, and my friends used to call me Apache, because of the color of my skin and everything like that. Even though my neighborhood was a melting pot of people and all the different cultures and stuff like that, they just like the word Apache. I guess from watching TV and stuff like that there. And I was very well respected because everybody respected my mom, you know. And everybody that knew my mom, the younger kids and stuff like that, would be like, hey, hey, that's Apache's mom. Nobody need to mess with her. That's Apache's mom. Leave her alone. So she was respected and protected, in the neighborhood. And of course, the folks of her age, of her generation, everything. Every time they saw me, they were like, "Hey, little Godfather! Hey, little Godfather!" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm feeling important." um, in 1982, my sister had given me a pocket watch for Christmas, a real pocket watch, and I mean gold pocket watch. It was beautiful, and I had put it on with a suit. I was wearing a double-breasted pinstripe suit, one that I had made over in Korea, wearing the fedora and stuff like that. And people like, oh yeah, you ain't little no more. You are definitely the Godfather. So I'm like, hey, yeah, okay. I'm liking that. So the name sort of stuck, and everybody just started calling me Godfather. The people in my family, friends that have known me for a long time, it's like, hey, Godfather, how are you doing? My family, of course, they you know had different names for me. Like my grandkids call me OG. When the first grandchild was born, they were talking about, yeah, we're gonna be calling you grandpa, gonna call you pop. I said, no, 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 no. So I'm gonna pick my own name, you know. So the first name I actually picked out for the grandkids to call me, well, my grandson, I was gonna go by GG, Grandpa Glenn. And then I remembered that my grandmother, the people like my son and people in his generation, they were calling my grandmother Gigi for great grandma. So I was like, yeah, no, I can't go with that. And then OG came. I said, hey, I like OG. It has multiple meanings. It could be old guy, old Glenn, original grandpa, so I kind of like that. I put that out there, and all my grandkids call me, OG. I got some nieces and nephew, call me Unc, uh, Uncle Glenn, Uncle Glenny, UG for Uncle Glenn, So it's the timeline has just gone, from that far to Godfather. And while I was in the military, we both served, and salute everybody out there that has served. Proud to have served with you guys. I had a Seiko. I had a self-winding Seiko, and a matter of fact, on it on the dial it said self-winding. Okay, and this one particular time in 1980, I had to do a jump. Okay, we were doing a halo jump, and for those that don't know, that's high altitude, low opening jump. And so, being how high we were, I took my watch, I had it on, and I actually had it on over my flight suit so that the metal would be on my skin and I'd get burned. And of course, it put some strain on it. And then, of course, when I went out the airplane, I went one way, the watch went the other. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I need my watch. I need my watch. Like it was gone. So for years, I looked to replace that watch and unable to find a self winding watch. And Seiko came out with the new watches called Kinetic, but they wanted to charge $300 or $400 more than what I paid for the self winding watch. And I'm like, it's the same thing. Okay, you get the kinetic movement, it's going to wind up. It's the same thing. It's like, nah, 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 nah. So I had gotten an assignment to go to Okinawa. And before I went to Okinawa, I went down to Florida to visit my mom down there. And walking around Miami and stuff like that, going in and out of shops and stuff, went into this one jewelry shop, looking at watches, and of course saw the Invicta. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. Oh, it says automatic on there. I picked it up, felt the weight and everything like that. It felt good in my hand and stuff like that. And talked to the owner and stuff. So hey, listen, I'm in the military. I'm getting ready to go overseas and stuff like that. I want to get this watch. So he gave me a decent deal on it, and I was like, this is nice. So I still had a week before I was leaving, and wore the watch for about a week. Felt comfortable, kept great time. So I ended up going back to the shop and ended up buying four more watches of the same style, but of course different colors and stuff like that. And went over to Japan. And of course, while I was in Japan, everybody was looking at the watch like, where you get that watch? We never heard of them before. That's a nice watch. People comparing it to their Seikos and the Casios and all the other different watches, and they were just like, man, that's a nice watch. We need to look for these watches when we get back to the States and stuff like that. And going into the stores in Japan, in Okinawa and stuff like that, and you're looking at the Seikos there, while they were decent prices, it was still did not compare to the Invicta that I had just picked up. So that is the story of how I came to like Invicta starting in 1991. And of course, I may not be, the oldest Invicta collector, but I think I might be the longest one that we have seen. I know Bob Cohen, he had been collecting for maybe about 20 years or something like that, So, but hey, it doesn't matter how long you've been collecting, it's just that you started and everything like that there. And, I love it. Yeah, I see my friend Felix Roman, he's on here and everything like that. Yeah, we met in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. He was also excuse me, in the Air Force and stuff like that. Very
Yeah.
good friend of mine and stuff like that. We, had a good connection when we met. We actually met, I think a week or so after I had arrived and stuff like that. We've been great friends ever since. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, it's like I hear about college fraternities and all of that, and I mean the military really is that level and higher, depending on if you're in conflict and stuff. I mean you build bonds that last a lifetime, and I mean, it's huge. I had a couple more questions, but you went through pretty much everything, and I'd probably say that your go-to, and that's good. I love the story. I'd say probably your go-to is a pro diver, grand diver style. So
Yes, yes. Uh, the Pro Diver Grand Diver has always been my go-to watch. It's because of the style is comfortable to wear and everything like that. The height of the dial and the case, I liked it nice and slim because uh, where I worked during when I was in the military and stuff like that, I couldn't wear anything really bulky, even though they looked nice. You know, I was one of the oddballs, in the military where I would tell you, you work on the flight line, take off your watch. Like, yeah, no, my watch is staying on my wrist. But because it was worn under, nobody actually knew that I was wearing a watch. So it's like no big thing.
yeah,
Um, I started getting into other styles later on in the years and stuff like that. But the majority of my collection is Pro Diver Grand Divers.
yeah. I can see you've got some pretty interesting displays back there. I'm
Yeah,
taking those are self winders inside there and everything.
yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So I guess if you want to, take us through a few of them, kind of, talk about them, and I'm actually gonna kind of put you on the screen so we can all see. There we go. Now we
yeah,
really
yeah,
get the full effect now.
yeah. Let me step out of the way a little bit. And of course, as you can see, uh, all of these watches up here are Pro Grand Divers. Um, Over here, I have my Pro Divers and some of my Grand Divers here. Of course, I got my Mickey Mouses, Popeye and Snoopy and stuff like that. Uh, the Grand Divers, second generations. Okay. And then, of course, these here are all Grand Divers. And of course, we have the Grand Diver, you know, the blue
Yeah,
label.
blue label.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, you have the 15th anniversary. And this is the
Oh
one with
yeah,
the meteorite dial.
yeah,
You
sweet.
know? And then, of course, this last one here, this is all my reserves. Everything in here is reserved. And of course, this one here, not this one, this one here, Reserve Pro Diver Diamond Elite. Only 200 of these made. This has a value 7750 and
Wow.
about 0.81 carat total weight of diamonds. You
Yeah,
know?
I
And then,
I,
of
I
course,
missed out on the Val shoes. Those are
yeah,
amazing movements.
I have four values.
Good.
Mhm. And then, of course, this watch here, which has the SW500. I don't know if you guys remember when I bought this with the burgundy and the green. Uh, Christy had dubbed this the Christmas watch, and I kind of like that, so I call this my Christmas watch now. And then, of course, our the chaoses that we had. This one here, this is the one with the diamonds. That we bought from the last cruise. And I bought all three of those chaoses. Okay, and then of course down here in these drawers, you know, all these drawers are filled with watches as well.
There you go.
And on this side, these three drawers that I have here are filled with automatics. These are all my quartz, and of course, now the bottom drawer that I have here is actually filled with all my automatic with my Ghost Bridge.
Ooh, nice. Yeah,
Okay,
quadro.
so
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's beautiful.
So you got all the Ghost Bridges there. My second drawer, okay, is what I would have.
Yeah,
So
Coalition Force
yep,
Superman.
yep. And the first drawer here, which is which I like and everything. Everything in this drawer here has a dragon on it. So as you can see,
Okay, yeah, Quadro Dragon. Nice.
yep, I got it in the gold, and I also have it in the in the black.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, the black.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
bracelet is so unique too. The way they put that together with all
yeah.
the little
Exactly.
individual links and everything. Yeah, those
Yep.
are crazy.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then, of course, this is the watch that actually started it all. Okay.
Okay.
That is the first one. As you can tell, it's beat up.
It's seen some action.
It's seen some action. It has been through the ringer. It still works and everything like that. And it could be my, you know.
So we got a question from Kenny. He's wanting to know what kind of cases you're using in the drawers themselves.
Oh, I actually use the 8 slot cushions. From the 8 slot dive cases. I actually just pull the foam out of there to stick in there, and basically each drawer I put two of the 8 slot foams in there, and then take a third 8 slot and cut it in half. So I actually have 20 watches per drawer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's a good fit, and everything's going to be big enough if you've got any bigger timepieces and everything and it's definitely got enough cushion. That's for sure. Cool, cool. Let's see who else we got here. Uh, yeah, Felix.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, his yeah. I have to say, Godfather's collection is like say you've been doing this for a minute. I mean, you know, you're not at some crazy, 1,000, 1,500, which, we've talked about a lot. A number is a number, but a collection is something that's, you know, near and dear to your own heart. So that's,
Yeah.
I always tell people, and I mean, I got in the habit of, ooh, squirrel, you run off and grab this, but then 6 months later, you're like, why did I buy
Hmm.
that again? And things like that. But you know, the uh, the collection is impressive for sure. Do you have any like now? Do you do like beads or things like that? Are you? I'm not as much of a bead guy myself, but I'm just kind of curious. Do you do much of the beads?
I don't do much of the beads. I do have a couple.
Hmm.
Um, I actually I don't wear beads or that much jewelry. I mean, I have a bracelet that I wear. Now I've had this bracelet ever since 1973. Bought it over in Thailand, and it doesn't come off my wrist unless I'm going into the hospital for surgery or something like that. Other than that, it stays on the wrist, so I don't wear much for beads.
Yeah.
But during the second cruise, I actually picked up some beads by Gonzo. He was on Facebook and he was talking about doing this for the Yellow Adrenaline Party and everything like that. So I picked some up on the cruise and stuff like that. I put in my order for that. And then I had gotten some beads from Travis from Trap Vision 3D.
Okay.
He had a little thing and I won, you know,
Yeah.
some hematite. And then of course when I bought my hematite tourbillon, okay, then of course bracelets came with that as well.
Yeah. So did you
Yeah.
get the which one did you get in the tourbillon?
Okay, the tourbillon. I'll show you that real quick. Da-da-da-da.
And when you get back, apparently David's saying you've got some Disney DVD.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the Venom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my cousin up in New York. We had went to Disney World back in 2004, and his daughters were showing them a video. So, all right,
Too funny.
that, that I had created. I created the video. Usually, when we have our trips, I take a lot of pictures, and then what I do is I go through the pictures, get pictures from other people on the trip, put them together, and then I put them together with music, and hand them out to the family and stuff like that as a remembrance of the vacation that we had and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
So I know, obviously, watch collecting is big. And I know you're a big photography buff and everything, and you also are big into grills and all of that. Is there any other, like, big, passions that you have as far as, things to do and everything?
Uh, well, I mean, other than the watches and photography, and of course, yeah, grilling. I love the grill. I love when the family comes. We usually have two big cookouts a year. Memorial Day, which is like saying the beginning of summer, and Labor Day, which is the end of summer. And you guys seen the grills and stuff like that. And you see how much food I have. This is something that I enjoy doing with a passion. And of course, photography. I've been into photography for about 60 years now.
Okay.
My mom had given me a camera. I was 5 years old. She gave it to me for my fifth birthday. And I remember this because this was one of the old box cameras.
Hmm.
Okay. And it was red, had a white button, and had a white strap on it that you used to carry around. And I was going around taking pictures. And I mean, it just, you know, it allowed me to learn how to see things differently. Most people get out there and, oh, that looks nice. Take a picture of it and stuff. And then I'll take, for me, I'm taking 10 pictures from maybe different angles. And people say, why you take so many pictures? I says, because you miss things. You looking with your eye and your camera will catch things that your eye actually miss. I've had people look at my pictures that were on the trip with me
Hmm.
in the same area where I was at and says, I don't remember that, and I'm like, yeah, that was there. Well, why didn't I see that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's that's a big part of it. I mean, you pick up things that you wouldn't normally see, and Meat and I are saying they don't have those watches on Invicta store. Where'd you get yours?
Well, recently, ever since the internet got real popular and stuff like that, yes, the Invicta stores, I might find something. Shop HQ, I would find stuff and everything like that. But before that, it was just walking around, going to the malls, going to the different stores and everything like that there. The matter of fact, it was in 2016, okay? December 24th, 2016. I just happened to be flipping through channels because I was upset that a lot of my family members had went down to Orlando and forgot to tell me they were going. So I was stuck up in Virginia in the cold while they're down there in the warm weather and everything like that. And so I'm flipping through the channels at night, and I saw this pocket watch on TV. I said, "Oh, that's nice." I'm like, "Oh, that's an Invicta pocket watch." I says, so I started looking at it and watching it and everything. I said, I like that. Let me go ahead and go online. Let me see about ordering this. It's like, well, let's see what else they got. And then they started showing the Dragon Loopers. As a matter of fact, this one here,
Oh yeah.
okay, so this was actually the first watch, along with the pocket watch, that Ryan Johnson had sold me. Okay, because Ryan Johnson was on that night. He was on television with Kimberly Wells. Okay, and they were talking about this and everything like that. And I end up buying this. And of course, when I met them, when I got on the first cruise, I didn't have the opportunity to meet them on the first cruise because I was a little leery. It's like, you know how some TV personalities and stuff like that, they seem like they're a little standoffish and everything. So I just stood back and watched the people. And he, to me seemed very personable, but I didn't do much talking on the first cruise. And then of course, the second cruise, I met him, Kim Wells, Heather Hall, Lynn Shaka, Kendi. So I met all of them, started talking to people again, being a little shy, not trying to be pushy or anything like that. See, and then the third cruise, talked to even more people. But the fourth cruise, that was the best cruise out there. There was more interaction on Facebook, more interaction on YouTube. So when we got on the ship, it was like I knew you folks for a long time, and the way everybody treated me, meeting them, nobody was standoffish. Everybody was nice. Everybody, talked to you and stuff like that. Everybody was willing to show you your watch and everything like that. Hey, what kind of watch you have? Oh, well, this is what I'm wearing. Oh man, that's nice. That's really nice. When you pick that up, and people will see, people will look at my wrist and not realize that I have a watch and say, "Well, are you wearing a watch?" And I flip my wrist over, and they be like, "Oh, we've never seen anybody wear their watch like that." I said, "I'm the odd one." I'm the odd one. Nobody pay attention to me and stuff like that. But it was so nice meeting people that I have seen on the different cruises, being able to talk with them, and the respect that the people showed each other. There was no judging. Okay, there was no talking about religion or politics. This was all about watches and having a fantastic time. And like Trap has said, when you interviewed him, a lot of these folks, while they are super nice, I really could not see myself actually being friends because, other than watches, we didn't have a common denominator. However, okay, now with that common denominator, it's like we should have been friends all along. And now we have transformed from being friends to being family. This Invicta family is a community, you know,
Yes,
and you talk
absolutely.
about fraternities, okay? And of course, like John, you and I are members of, one of the biggest fraternities in the world, and that's the military, And then now we're part of the Invicta community, which is like a fraternity. Everybody is so nice, and we just enjoy talking with each other. And we talk about more than just watches,
Hmm.
That's the thing. The watches brought us together, and we continue to talk, not only about watches, but about other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. Uh, your friend tells us that you collect dragons.
Oh yeah, yeah. That.
And but yeah, on the cruise and meeting everyone in this virtual world that we live in now and everything. But yeah, I mean, there's so many people that I've met, and like being on the cruise. We didn't go to the first one. We went to 2018. Um, and yet we were kind of the same way. We kind of just stood in the back and watched everything going on, and just enjoyed it. And then 2019, we're like, all right, this is getting exciting. We did the expo and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, to have so many different people from so many different walks of life and so many
Mhm.
experiences be able to just um, be together and and have a good time and all of those things, you know. Oh, Vic is asking, does wearing the watch like that get in the way at times?
Not really. You get used to it and stuff like that. Um, it, for what I do, if I wore the bigger watches, it would get in the way because if I'm typing on a keyboard, it would be banging up against the
Hmm.
my desk and everything like that. But for right now, the smaller, lower profile watches does not necessarily get in the way. However, wearing it like this does take a toll on your watches. One of the reasons why you get the higher end, get the flame fusion crystals. Like I said, my first watch is a mineral crystal, so yeah, it didn't break, but it does have a lot of scratches on it and stuff like that. So I've never had an issue with the pro divers, grand divers, but if I'm wearing something like the Kraken, it does get in the way a little bit where I'll have to take it off if I'm typing on something or if I'm working on my pictures on my computers and stuff like that. But for the most part, it not for me, it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like you say, you've been wearing it that way for a long time. Oh, wanted to say thanks, Felix, for stopping by,
Yep,
and
yep. Thanks, man.
you
El
know,
Gato.
but so speaking of pocket watches, I know there's one or two sitting around here somewhere. So what you got?
Oh yeah. Okay. I've actually put them in the 15 slot dive case. Okay, so
Oh yeah. Wow. Now
that's
which one is the oldest?
the oldest one. It's not in this case. It's in the other case. So here we go. Okay.
So it looks like you've got a request, Godfather. Oh, okay.
So let's see if I
Yeah, that's nice. Wow. Now, how old is that?
This one here is, let me think. This one's close to 20. This one here is close to 20 years old. This is the oldest Invicta pocket watch, but not the oldest pocket watch.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
Now,
I think your
this is the
niece
oldest
has
pocket
a
one.
request of you.
Yeah, this is the one that my sister gave me.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's
Another one of my cousins, trying to get ahead of the game.
pretty. That's funny. Yeah, I was gonna say, Sherry. I know your family, but yeah, I think there's some of us out here in the Invicta family that may want to, you know, put in a word or two there too. No time soon, obviously, but hey, uh, um, that's funny.
No time soon. No time soon. Hey, family, if you're liking this concept, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Okay, John is doing a wonderful job, and I mean, the moderators out there, his wife and stuff like that. So just hit that like, hit that thumbs up.
Thank you, sir. That I appreciate that. So Vic is asking, what if you had a go-to pocket watch? Which one would it be right now?
Right now, the go-to pocket watch would be to be to be fancy. I would go with my Snoopy pocket watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then if I want to be, old school, classy,
Oh yeah.
go with the 1953.
Wow.
Okay, and then just to throw people off a little bit, then
Uh-huh.
so
Now, what do you know? What kind of movement that is? That's beautiful.
Yeah, this one here was, and I figured you were going to ask that, and I
It's all
know
right.
it's a Chinese movement.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
so
So, vintage Invicta for everybody in the audience here is over in and if I screw this up, I want to say Netherlands. If I'm
mhm.
wrong, I apologize. And he has some extremely old. He has a pocket watch from 1904 used by the English Army. So, yeah, I've seen vintage and some of his postings, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
got definitely some mid-century 30s, 40s, and so some beautiful watches. And
yeah, yeah.
from that perspective, we'll probably try and because of the time difference, we'll try and see if we can get him on in a couple weeks. So that will be an exciting one as well. To yeah, everyone follow. It's Vintage Invicta on Instagram,
Mm.
and you can really see some amazing watches. Now, are you on Facebook too? I couldn't find your post because I didn't know. I know you're on Instagram, but I wasn't sure your Facebook handle.
Uh, yeah, I'm on Facebook. It's like GLBE, but I don't post. Haven't been posting any watches or anything like that on
Okay,
Facebook. Usually, I just post like family stuff on that. So most of my watches that I do post are on Instagram. Uh, it's just a whole lot quicker and easier. Um, it might be if it's something unusual or different, then I might post it on Facebook, like post it in Invicta Cruisers or Invicta Holics and stuff like that, just so people can see something different than what everybody else is posting.
right, right. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, and I mean
yeah.
that's good. And like I say, anybody out there that wants to, see some really interesting watches and everything, definitely follow him. So, with all your travels
Mm.
and all this, what put you all the way to Virginia Beach? Because I don't think you're native to Virginia Beach.
Uh, no, I'm native to Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. Joined the military, and I had maybe a couple of years left to retirement. And my mom was down in Miami, Florida. So I originally had planned to go to Miami to retire down there. Uh, in 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit down there and wiped out a lot of stuff, messed up my mom's house and everything. So while they were rebuilding the house, the family moved my mom up here to Virginia Beach because I had a couple of aunts and uncles that were up here because of one of my cousins who was in the Navy stationed here. So
Okay.
they were living here in Virginia Beach. And in 1993, my mom found a house in Virginia Beach and she says, "Oh, I like that house." Went and bought the house, sold the house in Miami, and never went back. And I'm like, "Why you sell the house in Miami?" She said, "Because I'm here in Virginia Beach." I said, "Why you sell the house in Miami?" She says, "Because I'm here in Virginia Beach." I was like, "Well, can I go to Miami?" She says, "But I'm here in Virginia Beach." I like, I get it, Mom. I get it. So I retired and I moved to Virginia Beach. And a lot of family that have moved out of New York, a lot of the older generation moved down here and stuff like that. And, they loved it. I love the area. It's not as fast paced as I'm used to being in New York or Miami, but the area is nice. It's a great area for kids to grow up and get educated. They do lack a little bit in their education process in some of the schools where they need to upgrade their curriculum. It's so many different things that they don't teach teach the youths today, like we would see up north and even in some of the schools further south. The curriculum is so different. Growing up in New York, uh, because it was a melting pot
Yeah.
of cultures, you were exposed to everything. When I was growing up, I was never really exposed to racism. I saw it on TV. I heard about it and read about it in the newspaper. Never really exposed to it until I actually joined the military and left New York. And it was mind blowing as to seeing all this stuff. And people like, you hear people talking about it and be like, is it really like that? Is it really like that? And then when you finally see it, you're like, yes, it's really like that. So, our culture, hopefully the younger generations, will find a better way to get uh, a lot of the older generations to see what is happening. The violence is not the issue. Violence is never, ever the issue, and you cannot uh, talk or have protests, even though your protest is peaceful. The way you talk, the tone in your voice drives everything. Okay. And if you talk with respect to people, people will listen. If you talk, even though you have a good message and people do hear a certain tone in your voice and they don't hear the respect, people are not going to listen to you no matter what you have to say, So it's like people, what was it? A long time ago, Rodney King said, why can't we all get along? My saying is, listen, get an Invicta watch. Everybody's going to get along.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, Vintage is asking, that you have your pocket watches. Like, what kind of occasions do you, pull out the pocket watch and?
Anytime I'm in a three-piece suit, I will always wear a pocket watch. Um, if I am in the mood, usually on the weekend, I will throw on a pocket watch and throw it in my jeans because I'm wearing jeans, and of course, that's what that little pocket on the side of the jeans is actually for. It is for the pocket watch. That's why it was made, and I think it was Levi Strauss that actually put that on there and was the first one to come out with that and call it a pocket watch. I mean, pocket, yeah, watch pocket is what they called it.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, on the weekends, I don't wear it when I'm going to work because I'm usually carrying a lot of stuff, moving a lot of stuff. If I'm not working on the servers or anything like that, and I don't want something in my pocket to get smashed up or messed up and anything like that there. So,
Yeah.
but yes, I do wear my pocket watches and carry them around. I love getting dressed up in a suit with a vest because it's just wearing a pocket watch when you're dressed up like that. To me, it's classy,
Hmm.
and when I cruise, like I do a lot of cruises, and so when I'm cruises and we have the formal nights, I'm always dressed up, and I get a lot of compliments when people say, "Oh, they see the chain and they'll ask me, is that chain going to a pocket watch?" And I was like, "Yes," and I pull out the pocket watch and say, "Oh, that is super classy. That's nice. We've never seen anybody do it. We see it on TV, we hear
Hmm.
about it, but we never actually see somebody with the pocket watch. And that's classy. I like that. And then I'll be walking around the ship and people will be like, "Hey, you see that guy over there? Yeah, he's got a pocket watch, man. You should go check it out. It's not about it being an Invicta pocket
No.
watch, it's about it being a pocket watch. So yeah, but I don't do it for intention. I do it because it's something that I like. Yeah.
Right. And like you say, I mean, classy, classic. I mean, things like that. I really, and I rarely wear a suit. Just that's just me. But on the occasions that I would do something like that, I mean, it really sets off and accessorizes it in a way that you just don't see anymore. And
Hmm.
I love a classic look about that. Yeah. Smitten's like, Godfather is the classiest.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. As for cruises, yeah, I really hope that we can get something figured out here because um,
Yeah, yeah.
I sometimes worry about the cruise industry and some of the ways that things are being done. I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand, the safety concerns. But at a certain point, we're all gonna have to get over this. We're gonna have to get past it. Um, you know, Viruses have been around since, I don't know, humans have been on the planet. Those kind of things. But
Yeah, yeah.
we'll get there again, and we'll all be cruising and sitting on Lido deck, looking at everybody, and stopping over at the Frog and all of that, and grabbing some pizza,
Yeah.
and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The 2022 cruise, if they have one, is going to be fantastic. You're going to have a lot of people who, while they have been on cruises, have not been on Invicta cruises. So this will be their first Invicta cruise, and they'll get to meet all the people, like us that have been on these cruises and stuff like that. And they're going to have a fantastic. I believe that the next cruise that they have is definitely going to be way better than number four. I mean, number four was great because you got to interact more with the hosts, from Invicta, Ryan Johnson and all of that. You got to interact even more. The first three cruises, it, it getting up or getting to get into the audience and being that close to them when they were broadcasting. They had you guys, separated and everything. Again, I'm standing on, I'm looking, hey, this is nice. But when they started doing, oh, we get this close, oh, this is nice, this is nice. And you're seeing all the people and you're talking to all the people. And in that type of crowd, sometimes you might have people, bumping and banging, and somebody's going to go off the rails, but nobody went off the rails. You
Yeah,
know, everybody was like, "Oh, oh, hey, excuse me. Oh, what kind of watch you got on? Oh, that's nice." So it wasn't nothing to get excited about. Anthony, everybody had a good time, and then, like I said, Ryan and Kendi and all the hosts and stuff like that. You see them walking around. They say hi to you. You say hi to them and stuff like that. And like Ryan, the first day on the ship, him and Jay Z came into the buffet area, and so I was talking with him, and I introduced him to my nephew, okay, and of course my brother, who was sitting in the booth sleep, so so Ryan Johnson took a picture, of himself with my brother's sleep, boom, and sent it to me. I had sent it to your wife when we had talked about that and stuff. And I told my brother when he woke up, I said, "Hey, take a look." I said, "Man, we got pictures of you sleep." He's like, "Man, no, you didn't." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Even Ryan Johnson took a picture with you sleep." "Man, you BSing me. You BSing me." I said, "Nah, nah, 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 nah." Showed in the picture. He's like, "Well, damn." So it was that started the trip out fantastic, and then of course seeing Ryan with his then fiance Merritt. I mean, beautiful woman and stuff like that. And every time I would see Ryan, matter of fact, it was like the second day saw Ryan. I was walking around the ship and everything, and I saw Ryan with Merritt, and um, he had on the Diamond Chaos.
right.
And I said, can I take a look at that? So he showed me the watch and everything like that. He said, you want to try it on? I like, sure. So I took my watch off, and the watch that I had on was the Diamond Elite. And so he put that on. I'm putting the Chaos on. And Merritt says, you like that watch? I said, yeah, I like it. She says, run. I said, what? So I took off one way. Ryan had my Diamond Elite. He took off in the other direction. Ooh, Diamond Elite. And took off. So it became a running joke throughout the entire ship that every time I would see him, I was saying, are you still wearing my Diamond Chaos? He's like, yeah. Are you still wearing my Diamond Elite? It's like, it,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
it,
that was like I say, that was so great. Even like just meeting the crew, like the camera guys and the producers behind the scenes and all, like everybody seemed so much relaxed and engaged, and
yes,
I think that extra day helped take some of the pressure off them. And I mean I really feel for for some of them, because they're like they're like grinding like all the time with stuff, and seeing
hmm
how much work, like they're on the ship, I think it's like 2 weeks before, and they do a dry run with stuff.
yes, yes.
The cruise right before, they cable it and all that. So I mean it's amazing the amount of work that goes in, which lends to why somebody's like, why can't you do a cruise out of California? Because they'd have like 5 tractor trailers of stuff
Yeah,
they got
yeah,
to get somewhere, where they're coming from Hollywood. You shoot right over to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and it's like so much easier. But yeah, the
yeah.
interactions, I mean, I remember, I think we were up on 10 overlooking Lido, and I think that's where we met you, and we were talking to Trap, and Heather and Joe came up, and we were talking to them and taking pictures and everything. And
Yeah.
I mean it was just, you walk up
hmm
to somebody, and you kind of, hey, are you this person? And it's funny because sometimes I think we ought to walk around with our YouTube name on a shirt or something, because
hmm
sometimes until you actually start seeing people, and this is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to kind of do some of this is get for everybody that's normally in the chats and talking and everything, really get to know each and every one of us as collectors and people, and put a face to a name. And I mean you call in a lot, and we get to hear from you, and all the experience. But sometimes just being able to see and experience everything, kind of semi face to face, I think is you know that's one of my big goals with this. And I'm really hoping that when we do get to that 2022 cruise, and everyone is so much more engaged with everybody, seeing each other and seeing collections, and seeing how you have your cases and how you built them, and just all the different things that go on, that most people, when you're on the phone or talking, you just don't really get to see. Or you're on a boat, where you can't say, well, here's what I have at my house. This is how I do it. It's just, it's so much fun to, to kind of get to really meet and understand and appreciate everyone, as something more than just an Invicta collector, but everything, like you say, everyone buy an Invicta watch, and things will be so much easier, because once you accept the community and come aboard, you know every cruise we've been on, everyone's been great, and warm and welcoming, and all of that, and it's just amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade some of these friendships and everything for all the watches I've got, sitting in the other
No.
room. I mean, it really is awesome, how all of this has come together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree, meeting these people and stuff like that. And then, like you said, you will hear people call into the shows, you see people in the chat and everything like that. And this format that you're doing gives everybody the opportunity to see the people that call into the shows and get, I mean, when you call into the show, you're trying to get as much information in within 2 minutes. Okay, you don't have a lot of time, and then you get off the phone, and you be like, oh, I
I
meant to say
forgot.
this, I meant to say this, I meant to say this. You're like, let me get a piece of it, let me write those, let me read from this script, and hope I don't get interrupted. It's like, so it's like, no, no, no. But this format gives the people the opportunity and allows other people to see the people that have been calling in. It's like, I see people in the chat, hey Godfather, how you doing, Godfather? What's going on, Godfather? And these are people that, never met me, never seen me on the cruise, because some of them haven't even been on the cruise and stuff like that. They hear me calling it, hey, Godfather, that was a great call, and now they get to actually see me so that when it comes time for the cruise, you know, when they see me on the ship, as they're not going to be leery about coming up to say hi.
Yes.
It's not going to be like, uh, I like his watch, but what do I say? What do I say? Oh, wait a minute. That's the Godfather. Let me go up there. The Godfather, he's a nice guy. At least I hope I'm a nice guy. So, yeah, I mean, my family might beg to differ sometimes. My brother, look, my brother will tell you, like, hey, if you think he's a nice guy, get on his bad side and he will leave you. Okay, he left people in Barcelona, Spain, so don't get on his bad side. you know. But for the most part, I mean, like when I met you and your wife, I mean, it was fantastic meeting Kenny, and Trap, meeting Trap. It's like we were on the ship, and this is on the first day, and we were on deck 10, one deck above the Lido, looking down over the pool. Okay, and Trap was coming up the stairs by the big screen.
Hmm.
So I saw Trap and everything. I says, Trap. He's like, yeah. I says, I'm Godfather. Okay, now not expecting anything, just like, yo, man, what's going on? Trap had a drink in his hand. Trap put the drink down, okay, wiped his hands to make sure his hands were dry, okay, grabbed my hand in a handshake and put the other hand over as in reverence. And he says, Godfather, it is a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I mean, respect. The man gave me respect when at that particular time I had not even earned respect. I was just somebody on the ship. I'm a collector, but the man gave me respect, and I have to give Trap that. He will give you respect until you show you don't deserve it. Okay, and then if you don't deserve respect, he just cuts you off. He's not going to get confrontational or anything. He's just like, I don't need to be bothered with you.
Hmm.
And like I said, Kenny. Now I met Kenny in Facebook, and people were talking about like what they might do on the cruise and everything like that. And I told, hey, I'm going to be going snuba. Yeah, snuba is a cross between snorkeling and scuba diving. Doesn't require certification. You got your breather regulator on, tank 25 feet up. So I was telling Kenny, but he said, oh, I might join you. I said, well, come on. So of course, my family and Kenny, we had a bunch of people that were on the same ship, but they were all snorkeling. It was just Kenny, myself, my brother, and my nephew. Okay. And normally you're supposed to be down about between 30 to 45 minutes. Man, we were down like an hour and 15 minutes, because we were the only ones there. And the people that we were on the crew, the tour guides, I'm not taking that away from you. You are the tour guide. But the tour guides that we had, every cruise that I've been on with Invicta, I have been on the ship with them doing my snuba. So they knew me,
Hmm.
and I said, yeah, look, I got my family here and everything like that there. So they kept us down a little bit longer than normal, and we're taking pictures underwater, and I even told Kenny, I said, hey, you know, I'm going to take a picture of you with your watch underwater, because I wanted to get pictures of myself and everything like that, and of course, underwater I had flipped my watch over to the other side, I was like, can't do this. But yeah, so okay, hey Kenny, I waved him. He looked at me. I did this. So he held up his watch. Boom, boom. I took the picture of him and stuff like that. And I mean, he had a good time hanging, with me and my family and stuff like that. And seeing him on the ship, Kenny always had a smile. He was always in good spirits, during the cruise and stuff like that, having a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And then like meeting you and Christy. Now I met you, Christy, and Kenny the night before we got on the ship. We were at that hotel during that little get together party or whatever. I decided to show up, and I mean, but everybody is just so fantastic and nice, and talking with the people, and actually. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the cruise, that actually made my day, okay, was actually getting on air with Kendi and Ryan.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, yeah, you can see people walking around the ship, and you can see people on air, and on air they seem nice, but walking around the ship they're not so nice. Okay, Kendi, sitting with her and talking with her and everything like that. Super nice person. And then when she's not on air, super nice. I mean, she's very personable. All these people were personal. And like you said, the models, the cameramen, all the production staff and everything like that, very personable, very nice and everything like that. They were not like, oh, you gotta get out of the way. You can't be here. You can't do that. You know, if there was an issue, they would ask, hey, can you just move over a little bit? I mean, I was standing in an area when we were in the back on the Lido deck, and I was standing with a bunch of wires, and they just say, hey, be careful because we got some wires down there, and they might move and everything. Oh, I didn't even notice the wires, man. I'm busy watching the show and everything,
Yeah.
watching Kendi getting all these apples and stuff. Hey, I became the teacher's pet. Here you go, Kendi. Here's an apple.
Yeah. Speaking of, welcome, Candy. Thank you for stopping in. Candy's in here,
Hey, welcome, Kendi.
everyone. So, yeah, absolutely. You know, Kendi, we we've talked. We talked to each other, a bunch, and we were at the expo together. And the funny one was when we were all standing up on Lido when they were announcing the winners and everything, and then they're like, "We've got this new." Award or whatever, and it's the king and queen of the cruise. Kendi was standing next to us, and we're like, what? Oh, us? And I'm like, of course, we were way on the other side. So I'm like screaming, of course, no one can hear you. And I'm like, we're like going all the way around the pool and all. And it was like, it was so funny. It was just like, because we had a thing, they're like, be sure you show up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking, they're going to, say hey, or I had no idea, but it was so funny. But I mean, that's the thing, you know, on air, off air, we've met, her husband and family and all of that, and everyone is still just as warm and easy to talk to. And it's funny because I've talked with Ryan and others at times, and it's like, you know and we may even eventually have somebody like that on the show, because we see them as, they're the hosts and they're presenting, they're talking and everything.
Yep.
But I mean, they're collectors too. I mean, they enjoy this family as much as we enjoy them being a part of it and everything. And I mean, I think that's what really exemplifies what the cruise is all about. It's not just, hey, let's go and talk about watches. It's, hey, this watch, oh, that's really cool. Hey, how you been? What's been going on? How you been feeling? Oh, I heard about
Mhm.
your mom, or whatever it is. And
Yeah, yes.
we connect so much more on a personal level. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, we all live all over the U.S. and everything, and with different things going on in life and work. I mean, there's so many people like you and Trap and Vic, who I've yet to meet in person, but we talk almost every day, and it's all over this community of enjoying and appreciating a watch and what it all brings together. And I'm not a big I have other watches, I know most of us do, and you do too. I don't know of any other watch company that invokes this community the same way that Invicta does.
Yeah, the I've seen, people collect different watches, different brands of watches and stuff like that. And nobody that I know of, and I haven't seen it anywhere, has a community, okay, like Invicta does. Okay, you buy an Invicta watch and you are immediately, part of this community, because now you have resources to learn more about the different watches. People who buy a Rolex, they're not talking about, hey, you got this type of movement, you got this type of dial, and hey, let's get together when we get on this ship, let's do this. People who buy Citizens, they're not doing that. Invicta, this Invicta, while they decided that they wanted to start a watch company, I think they did not have any idea, no idea whatsoever how this was going to, progress with the people that comes in, and it's like, you know, hey, I came for the Invicta, but I'm staying for the family.
Yes.
We use the word community. We use the word collectors. And of course, as we know, the main word that we always use is family. This is a family. Without a doubt, we did. This is the family we chose. Okay, you wasn't born into this family. Okay, you bought an Invicta. You chose to buy the Invicta. You chose to be part of this family. Okay, and nobody says you have to be here all the time. Okay, but this particular family, even if we don't talk to each other, say for once a year when we go on the cruise, it's the fact is that when we do start talking, it's like we never stopped. Okay, because we have a commonality to be able to, bring us everything together. Right, you got the watches and stuff like that, and then like you said, well, how you been doing? I remember last time you were telling me about your family. How they doing? How's the grandkids doing? How, like I said, how's your mom doing and everything like that? It's this family is, for me, I don't know about most people, but for me, family is, tight knit. Okay, and I enjoy this family, immensely. And I have some people in my immediate family, like my brother and my nephew and my cousin up in New York, who have bought Invictus. I got them into the Invicta watches and stuff like that, and they're not as say they don't have as many watches as I have. They like me to where they're being very specific, very particular about what they get and what they like. And like for me, people get up there and say, "Hey, how many watches you got?" And right now, with the last watches that I received, I have 284 watches. Now, people say, "Well, that's a lot of watches." Not when you look at me collecting for 30 years. Okay, that averages out to about 9 watches a year. Okay, not even one a month. That's 9 watches a year. Now, you have some people, well, yeah, I've been collecting since 2016 and I got 500 watches. You know what? That's a lot of watches that you collected in that short period of time. Okay, now, based on that, how many of those watches did you actually buy? Okay, because you just wanted to buy. Okay, and how many watches did you buy because that was something that you really wanted? You know, I don't care. For me, I don't care how good the deal is. And you've heard me say this before. If the watch doesn't smack me in the face, okay, I'm not going to buy it. And when I watch the shows and you see the stuff on TV and everything like that, and the watch be tapping me on the face, be like, "Hey, you want me? Hey, you want me? You want me? You see it online, and it's like, yeah, you want me? You know what? Let me stick it in the car. It's got some unique, intricacies about it. And then you'll see Ryan and Kendi and Jay Z and all them get on there and show it on TV. And I'm like, okay, it's smacking a little harder now. Like, hey, yeah, let me get it. So you get it home, you also like, bam, it knocked me out of the chair and everything like that. And I'm like, I'm super happy with it.
Yeah.
And like you, I look at style, I look at movements. Especially like the Swiss movement, the R150s, the Salida SW200, 300, and 500. 300, not so much, but the 200 and 500, I love. And like you said, the Values, forget those. You're not getting those anymore. Now, they had the Sand 6, or was it the 7 that had the R150, but it had the
Just recently,
just recently.
the six.
The six
With the Sabakwa Dragon skeletonized
cutout.
dial with the fifth with the
Right, right.
150. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, no, I didn't get that. I liked it. It was nice. I loved the movement, the R150 on it. And now I wasn't a fan of the cutout for the Dragon. Okay.
Okay.
However, if that mother of pearl was a platinum mother of pearl,
Okay.
cutout or not, I would have got it because I am a fan of the platinum mother of pearl. I'm a fan of the R150, so I would have bought that. But the dark mother of pearl, I was like, yeah, no. Now, if they had the dark mother, like I have a Sand 3 Swiss made dark mother of pearl, but it has the red mother of pearl dragon in it. So, if it was done something like that, then I would have probably got it. Let's see
Right.
here.
Yeah. So I actually picked up that one. I agree. I love Platinum Mother of Pearl. It that slight kind of ocean bluish or whatever tint it has to it just really sets it off. Yes. Yes. That's yeah. That's stunning. That is
Yeah.
absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
Jay Moore has a question.
Yeah.
My favorite Swiss Auto 200 500 R150. Um, I'd say I love the R150 slightly more than the 200. I think the 200 has slightly better deviation numbers as far as their
Mhm.
time. Um, the 500, I I like that movement a lot. The only thing that to me detracts a little bit the 500 is if you're really wanting to kind of watch, like, I've got the 200 on, you can the 150 is, you can really see, because it's a
Mhm.
big freehand movement, you can see how smooth the action is. And sometimes, because it's, you're over at the 9 o'clock with the sub dial, it's harder to really be able to appreciate the accuracy of that 28,800 vibrations an hour, because the hand is so small that you don't really get to see as much of that movement. So of those, and I'll even throw, because I don't personally have a Valjoux. What would be your, if you had, if someone said, I've got like 5 or 6 different Swiss autos, where would you tend to lean?
Um, I would lean at, as far as if I'm going from upper to lower, the Value 7750 would be at number one.
Okay.
Okay. Um, then I would rate then the SW200. Then I would go with the SW500 and the 150. I put sort of side by side. They just, you know, battling out for each other and stuff like that. But the 7750, when I had, the ones that I have, the movement is just so smooth. You very, very, if you put it under the digital microscope and you watch very closely, you will see the slight tick. Okay, but looking at it normal, it's so smooth. And then the R150 is like, the R150 and the 7750, okay, butter. Okay, it's a hot knife going through butter. It's just nice and smooth. You
Yeah.
can't beat those movements and stuff like that. The SW200, which is that's the leader movement, a workhorse. I have let's see what I got for those. I have 11 watches that have the SW200 in it, and you know it, it just like with you with the 150. I see an SW200, I'm gonna go for it. But of course, now I got to look at the style. You have my movement. Let me look at the style. You need to smack me in the face, and you need to be saying buy me, You know, if you're not saying buy me, then it looks nice, and I'm not going to get up there and tell anybody not to buy it. Hey, we all a bunch of enablers or encouragers. I like to say. We are the Invicta encouragers. We will encourage you to spend your money. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Swiss made. I mean, the Swiss movements. Yeah, getting a Swiss movement. If you don't have a SW 200, 500, or even an R150 in your collection, I recommend, getting one. At least
Yes.
one, so you can see and feel the quality of this movement, the build and everything like that. There. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. And as far as 200s, I have quite a few 200s. Of course, I think I've got 11 of the Heritage. So those all had 200s, except for the very first one, which was actually a Pro Diver, actually came out with an R150, and it was a limited of 150.
Yes.
So that was like the very first one. Kenny's asking about any experience with old school COSC. Um, I've not personally dealt with a movement that has that certification. I believe it's COSC is more about the certification of a movement that it holds time with a overall deviation. So many a year or something like that. I don't personally have any. I believe
Correct.
that meet
Correct.
that standard. I don't know. Do you have any that you know of that in other brands or Invicta or anything?
Yeah. Um, I had one that had a COSC certification, and it was the watch was stolen many years ago when my house had gotten broken into when I was in the military. Lost quite a few watches. Uh, this was before I got into Invictus. So, but I haven't had any watches recently that has that certification. I would love to get one. Just to say I have another one in the collection.
Yeah,
It's not going to mean to me. It's not like, hey, my watch got COSC, certification, and people will be like, okay, does it tell time? And I'm gonna be like, tell time. It just like the 7750, just like the SW 200. It tells time. And people are gonna be like, oh, okay. A lot of people don't. While having one is nice, it's not a necessity.
mhm,
It's not something that's going to sway my attention to buy it. Again,
right.
you got the certification, you still need to smack me in the face a little bit. It's got to be something that I will wear. Every watch that I've bought, okay, I have worn at least once. Okay, now all the watches got to actually have been worn more than just once, but except for the T100, which I actually just received, so I actually just put it on today for this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it will get
getting
it
to
will
that,
get worn.
yeah, I agree. I would love to have one to say I have a COSC. Um, Probably the other one that I'm still working on is I'd love to get a perpetual calendar. I've got master calendars, but I don't have a perpetual. And for some reason, they tend to run those in the 44s or the smaller size watches that, like you say, I really want that movement, but it really has to mean something to me that it's going to be something I'm going to wear. I don't want it. I don't want a trailer queen. Where you ride around in a car show, you roll it out, with gloves on your hands, you roll it in a position, set it there. Everyone comes, looks, oohs and ahs on it, and then you gently roll it back in the trailer, take it back to the warehouse, put a cover over it for the next show next year. That to me, I don't enjoy those. Um,
Right, right.
um, So Jay Moore's asking about the Invicta not having or having SW200 and 150s that are not reserve. I think that goes more not necessarily the movement itself, but it goes to the build out and final assemblies and things like that. Um, so I think they do some of that to help with some cost here and again because reserves are a little bit more involved in the process. So I think they do some of that because they have the movements and they want to be able to share the movement with someone that maybe they can drop the price a little bit because it's not reserve. I'd say that's
Hmm.
probably where they would lean towards. I don't know that 100%. That's just opinion. Dickerson saying he loves his T100 tubes. Uh,
Yeah.
that's another one that's on my radar. I want to grab that one. I've got a couple other things that I'm looking at, and like you say, there is something to be said about and when we get to numbers, and I haven't counted mine in a while. I know I'm probably in the 260 range, something like that. Um, and I've gone through and I may eventually purge some of the ones that in the flurry of 2018 after the 2018 cruise I went squirrel squirrel squirrel. I mean, I was all over the place. But I don't tend, when you pull the drawer out and you look around and you automatically go over it, you're just like, yeah, okay. And you keep on going. Sometimes I think, some of those, I may, look to part with just because I would rather have someone else that wants to buy it that would wear it more than me and enjoy the watch for what it is. Um, let's see, what's Vic asking? Will a specific movement prevent you from buying a piece that you like, but you don't like? Oh, so if you're looking at a watch and you like the watch, but you don't like the movement, how much of that would influence buying or not?
um, there's very the movement itself, while is a big part of why I would collect the watch. Uh, it all depends on the movement itself. I mean, the movement would have to be really, really bad for me not to like the movement to say, well, you know what, I really like this watch, but this movement, it's a bad movement. So no, I'm not going to buy that. And thankfully, knocking on a whole lot of wood, that hasn't happened yet. So now I have seen some watches in the reverse. I love the movement, like the R150 in that Sand 6, but I'm not liking the dial.
Hmm.
So, yes, that prevents me from getting the watch because it's like, I'm not going to buy the watch either way. I'm not going to buy it just for the movement or just for the style. It's got to be a combination of both. So,
Yeah.
I love the watch, but the dial I'm not too happy with. It's not that I don't like it, it's just not my preference. So, am I going to get it or not get it? No, I'm not going to get it because it's not my preference.
Hmm.
But hey, I like the style, I like the dial. If it's tapping me on the face, then it's worth a look at. If it's not tapping me on my face, hey, nice watch. Let's move on to the next watch. So I mean, it all. Everybody is different. I want to take a second here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a lot of my cousins and family or friends, while they're watching the show, they haven't actually subscribed, so they can't chat. So they're sitting up there, telling me they see me and happy and everything like that. So I want to give a shout out to, Mona Johnson. Then I want to give a shout out to Tiffany Duncan and her sister. Um, they're on Instagram and they do like your wife. They do what, fashion style and everything like that. They're not doing it with watches like, like Christy is, but they do have their own little fashion style that they're doing on Instagram. And you have Fashion Junkie on Instagram, check her out. And then you have Tiffany and Toya, all one word, on Instagram. These are the sisters, and they do, a lot of fashion work and everything like that. Great fashions, great designs and everything like that. Um, Toya is the one. She's the the mastermind. She comes up with her own designs and so, and she's trying to get into the business to, you
Okay.
know, get herself out there. So yeah, you know, family and friends, check them out on Instagram and stuff like that. There, you know, they might have something you like. Toya does. She is like the owner of Fashion Junkie, so she does design and sell stuff. So you might see something out there you like, you want to give out for a gift or something like that. There, you know, so and you know, I have more of my friends and cousins. I keep telling them, hey, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. You can get in the chat. You know, you had a couple, you know, my cousin David, my friend Felix, and stuff like that. You know, Shari, you know, another one of my cousins and stuff like that. So
So
this
is it
is,
Fashion Junkie with a Y or an
yep,
IE?
yep, yep, Fashion Junkie with a Y.
Okay, and then what was the other one?
Tiffany and Toya, TIFFANYANDTOYA.
All right, there you go. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, come on by, stop by. Um, I do, on Sundays. It probably already, yeah, it dropped at 1 o'clock. I do, Smitten's watches. So, I do specs on the ladies because I think sometimes they're uh, under under talked about, especially on YouTube. Now, I mean, I know Shop and all those places, do a great job. Um, so, stop on by and, take a look. And, if you like it, and I don't want someone necessarily that, if they're not enjoying it, it won't hurt my feelings. You don't have to subscribe just to
Correct,
subscribe.
correct, correct.
It this is no judgment here. So, and that's what's great about all of this. We can all get together and talk about, different things. And, this is one of the big things about the lives that I wanted to do is, like, share all of this stuff. uh Jay Moore is asking, back in the day, all Invicta Reserve models were Swiss made. Remember the big black box? Yeah, I do have some of those. The big black reserve box with the red letter and
Yep,
it was
yep,
white on
yep.
the inside. Yeah, I have a few of those. Um, I wish they would do. Hey Brian, welcome in. I wish they would do some more of those. The Swiss made. I've had some, conversations about Swiss made and the heritage line and some of the other things. I wish they would. I wish they would go back to it being a Swiss made watch. I think for me, like you say, you got to like the watch. To me, I want to like the movement. And when it comes to something like Blue Label or Black Label or Heritage or something like that, a distinction within that encompasses more lines, to have the Swiss made badging and everything that represents, I think to me enhances the the ownership and the collection as something, that stands out, not just, hey, we threw some stuff together and we're gonna, put something on the back, put his signature, saying that it's, a Swiss made watch. And I understand, there's a cost number that comes with Swiss made, especially nowadays. But I think there's enough collectors like, like you and so many others and me that are at a point in our collection that we're not looking to just keep buying, the $100 watch or whatever it is. And I mean, those are absolutely fine and great watches. But as you mature, with anything, I mean, it's like, when you first started doing photography, you didn't buy the biggest, Nikon, blah blah. I'll screw it all up, but you know what I'm saying. You elevate yourself as you go, and I would like them to recognize that a little bit more. Now,
No,
obviously, I
no.
think COVID is throwing some kinks in there, so I understand it. But for me, that's one of the uniquenesses that I love about, the collections are, like when it comes down to Swiss made. I remember when they came out with the Platinum Select, and it had the big red embossing seal on the
Sure.
back.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I mean, that was very unique, and like I say, you're wearing your watch, you're not going to see it, but you know it's there, and it means something.
Yes. Yes. You know.
Oh yeah, Trap was talking about that he hopes that they go with your Pro Diver idea.
Yes.
That would
Yes.
be
A 30th anniversary pro diver. I mean, that would be fantastic. You
hmm
know.
yeah, absolutely.
So I would love that. It's just, I sent Ryan an email on that, a while ago, and it's just like, okay, the company came back in 1991. The first watch that they came out with was the Pro Diver, and I bought the Pro Diver in 1991. This is 30 years later. I would love to get a Pro Diver, and what you can do is, like I told them, have it come out on September 8th, because that's when I actually bought my first Pro Diver, was September 8th, 1991. Okay, so you can come out with it so that I can buy it September 8th, 2021. 30 years, that would mean a lot to me to be able to have a 30th anniversary watch. And when people says, "Oh, so you got a 30th anniversary watch?" I'd be like, "No, no, you don't understand. I bought one of the first ones 30 years ago." Some people, "Hey, well, I got a 15th anniversary, I got a 20th anniversary, but you don't have the first one." Me, I have the first one, so having that 30th is way more important to me than it would be to like somebody else. And then, like I told him, I said, if you want to go with an NH35 or something like that, I said, that's fine. I said, but I would prefer a Swiss movement. Put an R150 in there, or an SW200, put a Swiss movement in there.
Mhm.
And I says, now, if you want to get fancy, okay, let's do this. Throw a meteorite dial on it, have your diamond hour markers. And I said, if you want 30th anniversary, heritage edition, or whatever, you want to have him sign it. There's so many different things you can do,
Yeah,
and just like with my pocket watches, one of the things I would like to see, a 50 millimeter pocket watch with a tourbillon in it. That would be the grail pocket watch. I would wear that everywhere. It's like, what? I'm not dressed up, but I'm wearing my tourbillon pocket watch. So
oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. A Torby in a pocket watch. Yeah, that would be absolutely stunning. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I agree. Trap. If they were to do that to the Godfather, should definitely be the pre-sale person for that.
Mhm.
The SW 500s. Yeah, I agree, Jay. 7750s. Last I heard, Invicta is not doing business with them, so
Correct.
I don't see that happening. Um, I for anyone that has, those out there, I would definitely, it would be hard pressed to sell that. Unless I'm asking, then maybe you can bend the rule for me. Because I would really like to have one, but yeah, those are some special,
Yeah.
special movements, and it's amazing. So
Yeah. I tell anybody that, if you have a 7750, okay, you want to hang on to that. Okay, because like I said, we are not getting those anymore. So if you find one with a 7750, if you're into the movements, definitely grab one of those. If you're not into the movements, grab it and sell it to somebody who is into the movements. It's one of the unique movements out there today that, like I said, you really can't find it. Not in an Invicta. Recently, I think, was it last month, they had a San One that had a 7750 that some people ran across online and picked it up, and it was gone in a blink of an eye. So
oh really? Yeah. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I agree, Dickerson. An unboxing for me with that 30th anniversary, that would be on point.
Yeah.
Hey, trust me, I would break out all the bells and whistles. You know what? We'll do a if they do it at the right time, okay, we can do a super live unboxing. Well, I'll even have the grills going. Okay, we'll have barbecue and everything. Everybody come on down, and maybe Ryan Johnson come bring a cameraman, and this is going to be a different type of unboxing. And everybody will have a good time. It's like on Bulldog last night, Ryan showed them all the grills, because he was talking with Jen and say, Jen, guess how many grills he got? He got what, like two? Like, no, higher. 7 grills. And she showed him the pictures and stuff. And then I turned around and I teased him because then I sent them a bunch of pictures of the food laid out for the cookout and stuff like that. And they were like, oh, no. We got to make a trip down there,
Yeah. So what would be the fire marshal's occupancy at the Godfather?
Well, I know right now I think it's 75 right now.
Okay.
Okay, so 75 right now. We can probably, uh, depending on when this happens and everybody's getting the the vaccines and stuff like that. So if we did it like in September of this year, I'm pretty sure they, raise everything up. We probably get 100 people up in here, and I mean, like I tell everybody, there's going to be plenty of food, plenty of food. My Invicta family, my family going to come on down because we didn't have the cookouts last year. Look, this is a judgment-free zone. Okay, all this whole thing is about eating food, having fun. Okay, and I tell people, I always have so much food. I tell people, take a plate home, take a plate with you. I said, if you don't take a plate with you, don't blame me when you get home and you be like, dang, I should have took a plate because I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
That's your own fault. If you leave my house, if you leave the cookout hungry with all this food, you leave here hungry, that's your own fault. Nobody leaves my house hungry. And there's so much food. People can have seconds and thirds and still be able to take plates home.
Uh-huh.
It's like, come on, people. It's like 16 to 18 racks of ribs, okay, 60 pounds of chicken, a smoked ham. I handle all the meat.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then we got the family bringing the sides: macaroni and cheese, salad, black eyed peas and rice. I have a cousin from the Philippines. She usually cook like pancit or lumpia and stuff like that. So I mean, we have so much food: green beans. It's salad, fruit salad, and tons of desserts and stuff like that. New York style cheesecake, New York style apple pie, carrot cake, And if somebody has a allergy to something, you let me know. I'll let you know where that particular ingredient is so that you don't mess with that. We don't
Mm.
want nobody getting sick or anything like that,
Oh,
So
absolutely. I'm
yeah.
buying special Tupperware to
Look,
bring.
there you go. There you go. You can see my cousin Shari. She said, "If
Yeah.
you leave my house hungry, you never came to eat."
Yeah. Amen. Exactly. I have no doubts there. Uh, that's funny. That is too funny. Oh my gosh. So we've got Jeremiah Cherry just
Yeah,
jumped
that's my cousin up in New York.
right.
He goes on all the family cruises with me and everything like that. Very good young man.
Need to let him know when the Invicta cruise is coming. Bring him on board.
Yeah.
So, is there any other special ones that you've got sitting around that you want to kind of give us a shot of that we probably haven't seen in a minute or two? Or
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Okay.
okay, the Aztec wood.
Yep. And this is an
Yeah.
automatic.
Okay.
So yeah, they had they had turned around and did this with the quartz movement. And when they came out with the automatic, I immediately jumped on it because I like the design and everything like that. I like the case. You got your asset. Of course, your
Hmm.
subaqueous specialty. Case design, which I love.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, totally agree.
and then okay, and then of course I have
Oh, the carbon.
Jason Taylor subaqueous specialty. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
got. Yeah, I love that design. It's very different. You don't see too many carbons anymore either. I mean, I've got one or two.
no, you don't.
Yeah, you don't see that very often anymore. Okay, here we go. What we got?
Yeah. This
Okay,
is a Venom Open Heart.
okay. NH38.
Yep.
Nice. That's a nice one. That's a good one. I love that. I love the strap on that. That's a unique color combo.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Lupa. Wow.
this is also an automatic.
What's
So,
that running? It looks pretty
it's
good.
like I like my automatic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
This is running an NH35 in the
Okay.
Lupa. I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I love the
So,
numbers on it that you don't
so,
see. You don't see
and
that very often.
correct, correct. I mean, and when they came out with these two, this one and this one here, they came out with them and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? You don't see a Venom automatic. You don't see a Lupa automatic, at that particular time. So I said, you know what? They're unusual. They're different. So I definitely had to get these here. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. Those are, and that's the thing. Sometimes you go back probably even like 10 years. Some of the designs that you just don't see anymore are so.
correct.
Now, what is on that dial?
That's a dragon on the dial.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, and it's the S1 Yakuza.
Yep.
I have it in gold and I have it in silver.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that texture on the
Yep.
blade style on the strap. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
And where is my? Then
Ooh, wow.
this one here is the Sub-Aqua Trackmaster.
Okay, okay. That's different. That is
Yeah.
very different. I don't think I've seen that one. That's nice with the tachymeter and everything.
Yep.
That's unique.
Okay, and let's see here. This one here, one of my good collections that I like.
Okay,
Basically, it's a sea base.
okay. Is it is
Okay.
it titanium or is it just the way it looks on the camera?
No, it's just the way it looks.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
So
speaking of that, do you have titanium or the what
yes,
did you just come out with? The tungsten?
I have. Let's see, my titanium.
Kenny's like Godfather just showing off now. Well, yeah, that's the whole point of me having him on here. I want him to show off.
Now, this one here. Okay. Now, this watch here, okay,
Yep.
this is the Reserve, Swiss made Reserve Grand Diver, okay, has titanium and pewter,
Wow.
okay, and this has the SW200 in it.
Yeah.
So,
I've got one
and
similar that's got a iridescent bezel, but yeah,
right,
I love on the shape of it that it's very smooth and rounded on the edges, not the hard lines.
correct, correct.
I love that case style. Yeah, that's amazing. Did you ever get any of the exotic leathers like crocodile and stingray or any of those?
No, no, I didn't get any of those leathers. I saw them, and I mean, I like the way they look, but at the particular time, I was like, I'm not sure. And then when I was actually sure, I couldn't get them anymore and stuff. So I said, you know what? If they ever come back in, we'll see what what they're on, what case they're on, and everything like that. There. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't have any tungstens, but I do, like I said, I got a
okay,
couple titaniums and stuff, and quite a few ceramics.
yeah,
S1 ceramics, the Mobula. I have that one. So and then I got a couple of watches that like Trap showed his Jason Taylor Pro Diver, which is this one here. Now his was in silver, and mine says the trimmed in gold with the black diamonds in it.
hmm
So and then of course we get the little turbines.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember those.
yeah, yeah. And then one of the things a lot of people don't remember is the Leviathan Auto. Yeah.
I
So,
have that in a blue label, and I have one that's in like the pewter. Uh,
oh, okay, that's
design.
good.
Yeah, those are that's a unique watch, and I grabbed it because I was like, when I saw it, I was like, man, I've never seen something like that. I was like, okay, that's again, that's one of those. It's like, okay, that it's different and unique enough, and I enjoy how they did it. That
Yeah.
somewhat Jeremiah's asking for the Batman. Okay, coalition forces.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's my cousin. Like I said, basically like him and Noble. He's Batman and Noble is like Superman's. So yeah, and this here is an automatic.
Okay, yeah,
So my Batman, my Superman, and I also have the Flash, and they're all in automatics, all coalition forces.
okay. Jay Moore was asked a question. What grails do you have any subs? I'm assuming you mean Noma line or just. Whew, sorry, just barely caught that sneeze. So I do have all of the Nomas. I have 1 through 7. Um,
Yep.
I do have a few grails. I've got a couple Swiss maids. I think I've got some S. I got some 1, 2. I want to say a 4 and maybe a 5 that's Swiss made. Those are pretty good. I love the uniqueness of it. I remember when. So you may remember this one, and I would love to see them do it. Is they did a series, and it was two different sets. It was a Noma 1 through 6 at the time,
Hmm.
and they did you could buy the whole set in
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
black combat, or I think there was a gold or two-tone version. I can't remember. That's the one thing. um I wish I'd have been able to grab it, but at the time,
Yeah.
because and they were limited. They were
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
numbers, and I was just like, Oh my gosh, if I could have gotten that, and if they ever do that again, what I'd love to see them do is if you're gonna order a set like that and it's a limited edition and everything, that as part of buying the set is that you get number matching across. So if you get one through, like, so let's say Sabakonoma 6, now you got a 7, right? So if all of those, let's say they were limited to 500 each
Hmm.
one,
Yeah,
and when you got yours, you had number 255, but it was all the way across every
yeah,
single
yeah,
one was the same number. That and like a little certificate of the collection or whatever. They're all like it's like a car having numbers matching parts in a car. I mean,
correct,
it
correct.
makes it that much more special. So Dickerson's asking, do you have the Leviathan in 7750?
Yeah, no, I don't have a Leviathan in the 7750. I got two Leviathans. One is the original when they first came out with the Reserve collection, and then of course the Leviathan automatic. Those are the only two that I have. I was looking at the Blue Label one, but I end up buying the Chaos in Blue Label instead. And I
Okay.
was like, the Leviathan, because they both were at the same time. And I was like, you know what? Let me get the chaos, and because I don't like having per se odd number of watches, so I had three chaoses. I get this one, it comes up to being four. You know, so it's an even number.
Yeah.
My sub aquas. While you got a sub aqua normal 1 through 7, you can say, well, that's an odd number. Yes, but I also have the sub aqua, which makes 8. You know.
There you go. See when the Sabakonoma 8 comes out, you'll just say, well, yeah, I've got 1 through 8. And you'll just leave
Exactly.
the Aqua. No, that's a special run. We can leave him
Yeah,
alone.
that's that. Yes, yes.
So thank you, Sherry, for stopping in and watching. Appreciate it, and appreciate the follow and subscription and everything or whatever they say. I forget. There's like certain things you're not supposed to say on YouTube. So I'll thanks for being a family member. We'll go with that. And yeah, I really appreciate it. I know we're coming up on 4 o'clock, and I know with everyone's schedule, I don't want to go too far, because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a lot of fun. But I know it's Sunday, and people have family things and everything. So, any kind of final thoughts or ideas?
Well, I want to encourage anybody, any and everybody that's sitting up in this chat, this type of platform, this program that John has put together is fantastic. Okay, like he said, like we talked about earlier, this is a good way to get to know your collectors, and this is not just for guy collectors. Okay, this is also women collectors, couples that collect together. Okay, and it's all about family. So you don't necessarily have to spend the whole 2 hours talking about one watch, even though you might only have one watch. There's so many different things. We can sit up there and you got your questions and answers, and I love fielding the questions from the audience and everything. It's fantastic, and it gives them the opportunity to know what type of people we are. We are not the type of people who think we are better than everybody else. Okay, we're just normal, ordinary people that enjoy a common goal, and that is collecting these watches and enjoying life, and hopefully sometime soon enjoying barbecue.
Absolutely. Well said, and thank you for that. And just as a note, I know that these shows have been basically surrounded around a single person for 2 hours, and uh, I kind of have based that on the fact that the people I've had on so far do have a fairly large collection, and it could take some time, but I don't want to discourage anyone. And if there's people that are like, well, I don't know if I could be on for 2 hours, we can do segments. And
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you're comfortable with like a 30-minute segment, absolutely. And we can start breaking these apart and have people come in, and we can
yeah,
have
yeah,
more than one person. So I mean, I can have six different people all kind of talking and sharing and kind of bouncing ideas off each other. I mean, this is very, I mean, I think this is only like my fourth or fifth, so all of this is still kind of I'm kind of forming it and getting stuff around. I'm even working on some logos and some things, other things behind the scenes, as a thank you for doing this. So by all means, this is a privilege for me to be able to bring this and to bring everybody together for this. So I really am appreciative for everyone
yeah.
stopping by, and all the guests so far and the guests coming up. So with that, if we're good, then I want to say thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it.
My
Thank you
pleasure. My pleasure.
to the Godfather, and we will see everybody tonight on Power Play, and we
Yep.
have Pappy coming up on Wednesday night. If anybody's interested in checking that out, that'll be a pretty entertaining show for sure.
Yes, it will.
So thank you, Godfather. I appreciate it, and all that you've done and said. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, John and Christopher, for having me here.